What's going on, guys? So, did you see this week's episode of Gotham? Because, Court of Owls confirmed. Side note, if my energy doesn't seem as high in this video, it's because my cousin dropped off his baby, and apparently babies don't like loud noises. But, like I said, guys, Court of Owls confirmed. They didn't come out and say, this is the Court of Owls. No, we had a lady with a mask that looked very familiar to an owl, and she said, we need to gather the court. So, yeah, Court of Owls confirmed. I'm really interested to see what Gotham is going to do with the Court of Owls, because we saw in that one episode where the lady of the court was talking to Hugo Strange and saying that, you know, they don't care about being able to just reanimate a body. They need to be able to bring back a person from the dead to have immortality, memories, and all. Since we know there is no Batman, I don't know if the Court of Owls are going to have their Talons, which are their freaking warrior assassin people. Maybe the court is just obsessed with immortality for the people in the court, but maybe they could also have the Talons too. I don't know. I would like to see the Talons, but who would fight the Talons? You know, because they would kill cops like nothing. So I'm leaning toward the side that the court just wants immortality for its people in the court. But we saw Azrael, so I'm not going to put it past them for having a Talon either. As I guess Hugo Strange is working for the Court of Owls, and he's been doing all this research for them, and that's where he's been getting all his funding for this too, because damn, his equipment and everything is crazy. So he's been supported by the Court of Owls, and that's why he's moving his whole operations apparently upstate or whatever, because the Court of Owls just, you know, want to live forever. Now, Miss Peabody said something interesting that caught my attention, and she told Hugo Strange, this is the 13th person you've woken up since you've been able to revive people. Is it possible that Jerome or whoever the Mad Hatter is going to be, or anybody, is already alive in those first 13 people? If you really think about it, the Mad Hatter has to already have been awoken, because we saw Fish Mooney come back to life and she has her memory back and powers, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Since Fish Mooney has her memory back, you would assume that anybody after Fish Mooney is also going to have their memory back, because Hugo Strange has perfected that process. Maybe not perfected, but you know what I mean. So unless he purposely goes back to the old method, the Mad Hatter would already have to be created. Also, I had that theory of if Jerome is awoken, maybe he's gonna come back as the Joker, because he's gonna remember that freaking circus part of his brain, and he's gonna go off of just all the clown crazy instincts that he has. But it might not be so bad if we do get the true Jerome back, just the way we got Fish Mooney, although she has motherfucking powers. If Jerome comes back, he better not have motherfucking powers. Let's go ahead and talk about those Fish Mooney powers. What did you think of them? I hate them. I think they're stupid. Why does Fish Mooney have powers? She was already persuasive enough as freaking Fish Mooney, and now we're gonna have her powers that she can make people make grilled cheese? I don't know about you guys. I know it adds a different element to the show, and we have all these other crazy villains and characters, but there are a reason for those crazy villains and characters, you know, their experiments. I don't know how somebody magically gets powers to freaking, you know, make people do shit. It just seems freaking weird to me. I don't know why. I just saw that and I was like, what? Really? Which I find hilarious, because I'm watching a show where a man is freaking made of ice and there's reptile man and all this other crap. But, like, that just seemed so weird. It might be because Fish Mooney is not a character from the comics, so I know nothing about her origin, and she's just a character they're creating and giving her these weird powers. I just personally didn't like it. I wanted them to bring her back and I wanted her to be a mob boss of the freaking Gotham again to compete with Penguin, because they have such a good dynamic and good chemistry of hating each other. But now that she has powers, it's gonna be kind of weird. Also, did Fish Mooney have a damn beauty expert while she was in that tube? Because damn, her nails were on fleek, yo. Quick mention, Firefly was kind of cool. Selena saves herself because Firefly thinks she's a goddess, and goddesses need servants. So yes, we're keeping Selena around. Not like we didn't know that, but you know, I just like to confirm that she's okay. Saw a nice little chat between Hugo Strange and Bruce Wayne. We got to see more of those Batman morals that we all know and love, of how the Batman will live and die by his morals, because that's what he believes in. Hugo Strange said that is exactly how Thomas Wayne was, and that Bruce should change his mind. Bruce says no, and Hugo Strange is like, alright, get him. And freaking everybody caught Gordon, Lucius Fox, and Bruce all got caught, and now they're probably gonna die. They're not really, because the show would be over. But, you know what I mean. I freaking love that Hugo Strange is one step ahead of Gordon and everybody else, because it just shows that he's really a dangerous villain, and that he knows everything that's going on, and he thinks 10 steps ahead of you. Not sure if I mentioned this yet, but I didn't think this episode was that great. I thought it was okay. I mean, it was cool that we got the confirmation of the Court of Owls, but the thing that bothers me that I didn't find this episode exciting was because my favorite, maybe not my favorite, but one of my favorite characters was finally shown in Clayface, and I thought it was just okay. Clayface has always been one of my favorite Batman villains because he's been a part of some really iconic stories and video games, and I've just always loved the character of Clayface. So to finally see him in Gotham, I was like, oh, but I actually wasn't, oh, I was more like, oh, that's cool. I will say I like what they're doing with the character and how they created him. You know, again, Hugo Strange gave him a persona. He gave him the persona of being a talented actor or whatever, so that's gonna be awesome. And then now, we saw at the end of the episode, freaking Clayface's first transformation is gonna be Gordon. Side note, did you see that terrible wig they freaking used, and then it was just automatically Gordon's perfect hair? That was ridiculous. Seriously, did Gotham have like the backup makeup artist and backup props guy on this episode or what? It's gonna be really interesting to see what Gotham does with Clayface, because I think after a few times of using that damn helmet machine and becoming different people, I'm hoping that Clayface is gonna be able to mold his face like he did in the animated show and the comics, and just be able to do that and become whoever he wants instead of always having to use that damn helmet. So hopefully after a few times of that, he'll be able to just transform. But that's basically it, guys. I'm sorry this video is not like as energetic or crazy, but this episode didn't really get me pumped for anything. Usually when I'm all like, the episode was epic, but this one was just okay, and it didn't really get me excited for anything. It just felt like a very big setup episode for the finale. Anyways, you guys know that I love to hear your thoughts on this episode. Do you like Fish Mooney having powers? Are you excited about the Court of Owls? And how do you think Bruce and Lucius are gonna get out of that poison chamber? Let me know in the comment sections down below. Guys and gals, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with all your bat buddies. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for all things nerdy and geeky on this channel. As always, guys, I am your host, JUICEbox. Remember, when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself something. Have I had my daily dose of juice? See you guys next time. Bye!